On to Heat 8, and it's hard to look past the front row of Throttle Warrior, Tim Knox on pole position, and Brad Philpott for Birmingham Wheels for the Heat win. But we'll certainly try, and you're looking back from Connor Lucas for Teesside Tigers on grid 6, at Carl Parkin for 3 legs. No one better hang about though, as Danny Harwood is looking to mete out more Pontefract punishment as he goes for the individual points crown with a 3rd win from the back of the grid. Picking up to the start, Chris Rowe had to back out the throttle, lost all his momentum. Knox going for turn 1. Philpott trying to go round the outside to take the lead. Nobody's done it yet today, and Philpott's through. Birmingham Wheels lead. Knox looking to the inside, but it's only to hold off Toby Stringer in Worcester Raptors. Chris Rowe shaking his arms about all over the place. It's looking a bit frantic back there. Connor Lucas round the outside of Stringer, and Lucas is up to 3rd. Dan Bewley now lining up Stringer as they go into South Bank Bend. Coming up to hairpin 3, tipping in. Oh, when Stringer's run wide, he should concentrate on the racing line and not over his shoulder. He shows Bewley the outside and then gives him the position. So Bewley up to 4th, Stringer 5th. Carl Parkin for 3 legs in 6th. Steve Ayres for Team Sport in behind. Stringer on the defensive. How many times does he need to look over his shoulder? Narrowing to hairpin 2, he'll have no momentum off the corner, and he'll wonder why everybody's ganging up on him. Carl Parkin blasts past. Steve Ayres goes with him in Team Sport. Daniel Gardner picking off Chris Rowe in South Bank Bend. Bobby Conway for Brentwood Bandits on the outside, and he's going to be isolated out there, but he might have the inside track. Danny Harwood already slicing and dicing. Stringer looks over his shoulder again. Chris Rowe trying to chase after Bobby Conway. Harwood's already inside James Gibson for Ipswich Warlocks. Next target is Chris Rowe in Stockton Sprinters, running in 13th, so Harwood's done half the field in 2 laps. He's down the inside and he's through. Conway loses it on the brakes. Danny Harwood's up to 12th. Chris Rowe lost his momentum and he's been eased out the way by James Gibson for Ipswich Warlocks, and he goes narrow to hold off Rowe, but he'd better watch out, there's somebody over his right hand shoulder. It's John Payton for Cosley Cougars, who pushes him out the way, and now he loses out to Danny Paxman. Damien Nicholson for Atherton Bulls gets inside of Toby Stringer. Just about fair. Stringer waving his arms around. Danny Harwood does the pair of them and is up to 7th place. And now chases after Daniel Gardner for Teesside Angry Birds. Lauren Thorpe holding off Damien Nicholson in Atherton Bulls. Through the S's. Then getting on the brakes for the hairpin. Stringer once again looking over his shoulder when he should be concentrating on looking for a line in the next corner. So Stringer, few car lengths on Lauren Thorpe. Charging round, John Payton looking to the inside of Cameron Ritchie. Up the inside of Loopy Pistons leads. Cosley Cougars moving forward once again. James Gibson fighting out with James McFadden. Cameron Ritchie, Danny Paxman, over start finish. Here comes Payton inside of Damien Nicholson into turn 1. The position is his. Cameron Ritchie up to 11th. Damien Nicholson runs in too deep and loses out to Paxman. So Lakeside up to 12th. McFadden passing James Gibson. And now going to work on Damien Nicholson. Oh, here comes James Gibson with a great run off hairpin 2. Does the pair of them into South Bank Bend. And Chris Rowe's coming back to them. Nicholson gets the door closed into hairpin 3. Toby Stringer in 8th, but not for much longer. Pushed out the way by John Payton and Cosley Cougars. And Cameron Ritchie was trying to do the pair of them. And Cosley Cougars are indeed through to 8th place. Paxman on the outside, Ritchie behind. Stringer now falling back towards James Gibson. Richie going down the inside. Oh, it's getting a bit frantic. Stringer locked up on the brakes. He's got the inside for hairpin 2. Oh, I think he brake tested Chris Rowe there. And as far as I'm concerned, you can fire him off. Get out the way. He's weaving now down into South Bank Bend. We'll go back to the front before I lose my temper. It's Tim Knox in second ahead of Connor Lucas for Teesside Tigers. The Throttle Warriors losing ground to Brad Philpott in Birmingham Wheels. Here comes Dan Bewley, putting him over in on car parking down to turn 1. It's a lovely move and Daniel Gardner's going to go with him. So Gardner goes through and up to 5th place. And look out, Danny Harwood's right there inside of car parking. Into hairpin 1 as he got the move done. Parking prepared to fight it out. But Danny Harwood moves up to 6th place and the Pontefract Punisher may now have enough points to guarantee himself the individual title. Stringer once again on the defensive, has the mind to wave somebody through for a change. He might learn something following Chris Rowe. Connor Lucas still looking at the bumper of Throttle Warrior Tim Knox in second. Lauren Thorpe losing out to Danny Paxman. In the battle for 5th, Danny Harwood is ahead of Danielle Gardner, but she's not finished. Looking to the inside of turn 1. Getting on his bumper through the S's. Will she shoot it up the inside? Into hairpin 1, not close enough, but parking has a go at Dan Bewley. We cut back to the battle for 10th. And it's led by Paxman, Cosley, Gibson, Richie going down the inside of Lauren Thorpe into hairpin 1. Back with the leading trio. Knox unable to close on Philpott. Lucas looks as though he's saving himself for a last corner. Dive up the inside on Knox because he's still a kart length down. Over start finish. On to the penultimate lap and Bradley Philpott leads for Birmingham Wheels. Into the S as he takes a look over his shoulder. It looks as though he's got the measure of Knox. Lucas better get on with it because I can see Daniel Gardner and Danny Harwood racing with each other but closing in. Knox has pulled out a car length. Harwood's got half a car length on Daniel Gardner. Stretches to a car length and a half round South Bank Bend, and it'll shrink again on the brakes as it has done. Lucas now in position to strike inside of hairpin 4. Not quite there, he's been distracted by the zip on his race suit. It appears to have split. Lucas is losing a couple of car lengths. Final lap bought out for Bradley Philpott. Danny Harwood is dropping Daniel Gardner. Gardner will have to settle for 5th. Lucas closing once again. Not quite there into hairpin 1. Knox goes half defensive, just a kart width. Looking over his shoulder. Teesside Tigers seem to have struggled off hairpin 2. Connor Lucas beginning to close and look behind. Danny Harwood closing rapidly. Through the big bend, onto the brakes into hairpin 3. Harwood up the inside. Nearly wipes out Connor Lucas. Takes the position, he's through to 3rd. And now he goes for 2nd. Danny Harwood, the Mad Axeman from Pontefract, going for 2nd, but he's going to come up short. Bradley Philpott takes the win from Tim Knox in the Throttle Warriors. After a fairly quiet run to victory for Brad Philpott and Birmingham Wheels, Gareth Rogers talked to our winner.
Brad, that was a very clear victory. So my question is, how do you keep your concentration?
The answer really is you're not actually concentrating that much. You're just letting the kart do what it wants to do, and you're not really having to think about it too much. I've done 1,000,001 laps around this particular track, so you're just relaxing, and all you're thinking about is how far behind the guys are, and whether you need to defend yet or not.
Well, that's the contrast, because the other races, they've been sort of wheel to wheel. Wouldn't you prefer that?
I definitely prefer to just lead from the front and go from 2nd and then up to 1st and lead from there. Our team is on the heavier side today, so we're not coming off too well in wheel-to-wheel battles, so we're quite happy to lead from the front.